Halo Infinite undeniably has some of the coolest cosmetics we've seen in the franchise to date. Now sure, how you acquire these cosmetics isn't really ideal, not in the slightest. However, I can't lie in saying that I'm quite happy with how some of my spawns are starting to look. I think the art style in this game is great. Yes, I'd like to see some more of the Halo 4 and Halo 5 stuff incorporated at some point in the future, but for now I'm really happy with what's there. The game offers some amazing helmets. In today's video, I wanted to rank them on a tier list. I don't know why, I just thought it would be fun. And well, here it is. Every helmet in Infinite has released up to this point in time, as of June 2022. There's quite a few. But anyway, let's get straight into it. I'm gonna start by, of course, putting Yokai into S+. Why would I not? I mean, it's my profile picture, and I just love the way this helmet looks. It looks really demonic, and it's a nice evolution of Locust. I wasn't a huge fan of Locust, but I like how the design looks on Yokai, and I think it's a solid helmet. I mean, my 10 Rise Spartan looks amazing, and again, it is my profile picture. Depending what coatings you use, and if you have like the flaming head on, this helmet it looks terrifying in a good way, of course, and I love it for that. I'm also going to be putting the Mark 6 in S tier. I can't wait to get some of the other versions of the Mark 6. I want to be able to use it on my Mark 7, but we probably won't see that until Crosscore. It's Chief's helmet, of course it gets to go in S tier. You know, I love Chief, I love his armor. And although I don't always use the Mark 6 on my multiplayer Spartans, I do in Reach, and I do obviously on my Reach Core in Infinite. I just love the way the Mark 6 looks. The only reason I don't use it as much is because I want to make my Spartans feel a bit more unique, rather than just, hey look, I tried to look like Master Chief. I'll also be putting the Mark 5 Zeta in S+ tier, because it just looks really cool. It's a cool new version of the Mark 5. It has some elements of the Halo 4 and 5 Mark 6, which I think is really smart and really like a really nice touch. And I just love the way this helmet looks. Let's mix things up a bit. I'm going to be putting GRD in D tier. It would have gone in awful. However, I have been using it a little bit, and I love how it looks with that little armor effect, the little eye one you get in the Season 2 Battle Pass. With that, I think it looks pretty solid. I really don't like how it looks with the attachment. I think it looks much worse with the attachment. It's just too big. But I don't completely hate this helmet anymore. And I think with some coatings and with some visors, it does look okay. ULLR is going in awful. Not only is the bundle overpriced, it's just a new version of Gungnir, and an arguably much worse version of Gungnir. I don't like how flat it looks. I mean, I don't like Gungnir anyway, but I just think ULLR looks so much worse. And speaking of awful, where is it? I'm trying to look through the helmets. Stormfall. I mean, Stormfall is just Gungnir. I've just made it clear that I don't like Gungnir. And I mean, without the attachment, this actually just looks so much worse. It's just the eyes. It looks so odd. I respect that it's, you know, quite a unique helmet, and I understand why some people might want to use it. I don't think I've ever seen anyone use it without the attachment, but again, I can understand why some people would like this helmet. I, however, just think it looks gross. Next up in the awful tier, we've got the, is it called Shikari? I don't like this one either. It looks like it's wearing goggles. A lot of people say it's like a new version of Linda's helmet. I don't like Linda's helmet anyway. And I really hate how this one looks. With the attachments, I can tolerate it a bit more, because it looks like it's got sort of like tactical ops goggles, like the night vision goggles that people wear. And with that, it looks kind of better, but still not good enough to go in any higher tier. We're going to put this one in A tier. I can't remember the name. I just know it's the second one you unlock in the Season 2 Battle Pass for the new core. I like it because it looks like a jungle trooper from Star Wars, so for that, you know, it gets a couple points there. We'll also be putting the default Rikashi, the default one, in A tier 2, because I think it looks pretty cool. It's growing on me a little bit. I didn't like it at first, however, I am starting to, and with that attachment, it gives it like the little earmuff. That looks kind of cool. That one's going in S. I want to know more about, is it Din? Is it Din? I think it's Din. I want to know more about his character. His helmet looks cool. I know some people don't like the fact that the teeth are always on the visor, and I do think it would be cool to get the option to remove that. But overall, I like this helmet. I also like Kabuto. Kabuto's cool. It's, you know, the more recognizable of the samurai helmets, and it's pretty sweet. Not a fan of the default samurai helmet, however. It's just not very good. Even with the attachment, it's still just kind of meh. It's underwhelming. It's not the worst in the game, but it's very underwhelming. which other one? There's one more from the Samurai event in there, which is the Con Mage. Was it Con Mage? I brought this one, I should know. Con Mage is going awful. I brought this bundle when the Samurai event first come on because I was like, well, I want my Samurai Spartan to, you know, stand out a little bit. I wanted to look a little bit unique. And then I never used the Con Mage helmet anyway. All the other stuff in the bundle was pretty solid. It was very overpriced, don't get me wrong. It was a ridiculous price. But the other stuff that aren't the helmet were pretty cool. And I don't like this one. I mean, I get what they were going for with the design, but I do not like that design. Let's rank the Entrenched helmets first. Now, the Entrenched ones, in my opinion, are very welcome to the game, just like the Samurai ones. They look Halo enough where I think they fit in. However, they also really stand out. Like, I don't think that these helmets don't belong in Halo. Like, a lot of people hate them completely and say they don't belong in the game or whatever. But I think they look pretty cool. Some of them especially look sick. I don't like Sky Marshal, though, so that will go in D tier. I don't like how it looks. It's too big as well. It's huge. As for the default one, that can go in A tier. I actually really like it, much more than the default Samurai one. There's just something about it overall that I think looks kind of cool. I really love the steampunk-esque design they've got going on. I know it's based off like World War I and World War II. And I kind of, like, I think that's really cool. We've seen what a couple of the other unreleased helmets for this core look like, and they also look decent. But obviously they're not on this list because they haven't released yet. I like how this one looks. I also like that one. That also gets to go in A tier. I do want to unlock it. I'm 4 tiers off, so next time the event comes out, I will probably get that. And I do also like this one. It looks very Fallout-esque. I could actually see that being a helmet in Fallout. It just annoys me that its bundle was as overpriced as it was. It was ridiculously priced, and that was not a fair asking price. But I do like how that helmet looks, and I do think it's one of the better ones. Well, I say it's one of the better ones for the Entrenched one. Out of all of them, you know, it's better than Stormfall, and it's probably better than the 2 unreleased ones. However, I need to see them in game first before I can properly judge them. Let's rank some more of the Reach ones. ODST gets to go in S tier. I mean, come on, do I need to explain myself? It's ODST, which actually, because of that, I'll also put Firefall in. I'm not going to buy Firefall, not for the, what was it, 700 credits, 500 credits? I know I said let's rank some of the Reach ones, however, might as well finish the ones for the new Armor Core, because there's only 2 left. So, where am I going to rank these? I think that's B tier. It's decent, it's not my favourite on the core. I really don't know how to feel about it. I think if the visor went, like, you know, it's got that big gap around the visor. I think if it didn't have that, I'd like it a bit more. Now, I know there's an attachment that sort of fills it in at the bottom. And I think with that attachment, it looks a little bit better. But overall, I'm not a massive fan of this helmet. I don't hate it. I don't dislike it. I might even use it from time to time. But overall, I think there's much better options. This one will also go in B tier. I like how it looks. I like how it looks like a pilot helmet. Had the bundle have contained armor that I actually wanted rather than just the helmet, then maybe I would have got it. I wasn't a huge fan of all the other armor that was in it, and I kind of just wanted the helmet, but I didn't think it was fair to spend that much on just a helmet, so I never ended up getting that one. Plus, we've got the really cool one for this core coming out in an event, which is the one that I want more than any of them, and will probably be my favourite from that core. But yeah, that's how I'd rank all of those ones. One of them's in awful, 2 are in B, 2 are in A. They're decent, but they're not the best in the game. I like the new core. I really like how it looks overall, but I do think as far as some of the armor goes, it's a bit more underwhelming. So now we're basically just down to the Reach and Mark 7 stuff. I'm going to try and smash through the Reach stuff as quickly as possible based on where I'd rank them. It's kind of hard to do, honestly, because for some of them I definitely have mixed opinions on. Now, when it came to Reach, I wasn't a huge fan of the Mark 5B, however, it's really grown on me in Infinite, and I think it looks a lot better. Genuinely really like how this helmet looks now, so it gets to go in S. Hazard can go in A. I like it. I wasn't going to pay 2,000 credits for it, and then obviously it got reduced to 1,000. But again, wasn't bothered about the bundle as a whole. But I like Hazard, decent enough helmet. CQC, also really like. That's growing on me a bit more recently. JFO, not a fan. D tier. It just doesn't look very good. I get that some people really like it, but in my opinion, it's not great. George's helmet can go in B. Grenadier, like this helmet again. Looks pretty sweet. Looks better with some of the attachments. It looks similar enough to the Mark 6, but it's not the Mark 6 or the Mark 5, so it goes in B tier. Commando, is it Commando? This one can go in A tier. I prefer it with the helmet with the front piece. That looks better. Scout can also go in B. Again, it looks sort of similar to the Mark 6. It has similar features, but B tier I think is a pretty fair ranking for it. Cat, I'm not a fan of. It looks very round. And not like as in the visor looks round, just the helmet looks very spherical. Not a massive fan. EVA, I know I've just said about cats, I don't like it because it's round, but EVA gets also go in B tier. I used to always be a fan of EVA, and these sorts of helmets were my favourite. I used to use EVA on Halo 4, I can't remember what I used to use on Halo 3. No, I didn't use EVA on Halo 4, sorry, I used EVA on Halo Reach, and I used Oceanic on Halo 4, the one that had like the sort of the bar cage going across it. I liked that one, and it was like an EVA helmet. So I used to always like EVA type helmets. Even in Halo 5, early on in Halo 5, I used Buccaneer. Now I think Buccaneer looks disgusting, but I used to really love those sorts of helmets. So speaking of that, I will actually also rank Sphere State in B tier. I don't think it looks as good as EVA, but it's still a decent enough helmet, and I did use it for a good portion of Infinite. Emil's is EVA, but better because of the cool skull. So it goes in A tier. I'm going to put Rampart in S. Now, I know that might be a bit controversial. I know a lot of people don't like Rampart. I'm never usually a fan of EOD. I think it's EOD, the one that this is like an evolution of. Never usually a fan. However, Rampart, when I first saw it, I also didn't like. I ended up using it, and it looked really cool with my Spartan. So I ended up using it quite a lot until War Master came out. And it's really grown on me, so it gets to go in S tier because I actually think it's a pretty solid helmet. Recon's the last of the Reach helmets. I'm not a fan, so Recon's also going to sit in C. It looks tiny. Honestly, you know, with Patrick, when, like, you know, SpongeBob says he's Pinhead and whatnot, you know the joke, you know the meme. That's how I feel about Recon. It looks tiny. I'm not a huge fan. However, Trailblazer, which is a nice mixture of the 343 era and Bungie era Recon, I'm going to sit nicely in B tier. I think it's a pretty solid helmet. By, again, no means my favourite, but I don't dislike it. Sealox, I'm actually also going to sit in B tier. Wasn't a fan of Scout in 4 and 5. Not a massive fan of Sealox, however, I do think it looks decent. So B tier, I think, is pretty fair ranking. This one, what's its name? I don't remember, but it's the evolution of Cat's helmet. It looks so odd with how flat the top is and how tall the helmet is, and then it always looks like it's looking down. It's just weird, and I don't like it. Anubis, I'm going to put an A tier. I really like this new version of Anubis. I get some people are annoyed at how much it's changed compared to the original version, but I think overall it's pretty solid. And if you look at it as a new helmet, I think it's a nice new helmet. If you look at it as an evolution of Anubis, or Anubis in the classic art style, I think it works well. ISR is going in somewhere between awful. Awful because I remembered what it looks like with its attachment. I don't like ISR. I also don't like that my favourite chest piece is in the ISR bundle. I'm not spending that many credits on it. Not that I can anyway, because that bundle hasn't come back since like the game launched. I don't like ISR. Aviator D tier. It's really big and it's really round. Now, if you want a really buff spawn, if you use the attachment on it, then that can work well if that's the sort of look you're going for. But overall, not a fan. Soldier is also going to go in awful tier. It looks like it's doing the Joker smile. You know, where like he does the big smile and it goes all the way back. I cannot unsee it. It looks like he's squinting his eyes and he's smiling really wide. I didn't like Soldier anyway, but this version of Soldier is arguably much worse. Mark 7 goes in S tier. I'm actually going to put it at the front of S tier. It's a solid new addition, and it's already become a pretty iconic helmet. It's already a staple of Halo Infinite. War Master is going in S tier. Now, I'm mostly thinking of War Master with its attachment, with a little gas mask attachment. I think with that, it looks phenomenal, and that's what I'm currently using on my Mark 7 Spartan. Without the attachment, you know, it's still decent. If it was without the attachment, which here it is, it would go behind the Mark 7. It'd actually probably go about the back of my S tier without the attachment. However, I think the attachment's that good, then I'd put it there. Cavallano? A tier? Good starting helmet, good default helmet. Some people say it's an evolution recruit, and I guess I kind of see it. And honestly, I think I'd prefer it more than recruit. I get why some people are a little bit disappointed, and I do think the Mark 7 honestly should have been the default helmet. I find it weird that it isn't, but I do like this helmet. I think it's a solid addition. Enigma, awful. 2 round. It looks really fat. I just don't like it. What's this one called again? I can't remember. The first Mark 7 helmet in the Season 2 Battle Pass. It's going to go in C tier. C tier just because with its attachment, it looks a bit like Carmine. It reminds me of Carmine. So, I think it's okay. It's not great. I used it for a little bit with the attachment to make my spawn look kind of like Carmine. But overall, it's definitely not the best and not one I'd ever use without the attachment. And finally, we've got this one. And it's going to sit in D tier. I know that's an underwhelming end to the tier list. Again, with the attachment, it looks fine. Without it, it looks like a big tube. Anyway, that's my Halo Infinite helmet tier list. I did actually make one of these the other day that I posted on Twitter. However, I feel like I didn't actually spend too much time thinking about it back then. Nowhere near as much time as I've spent thinking about it right now. So a lot of my opinions on it have changed. But let me know where you'd rank them. Maybe even post your tier list on Twitter and tag me in it so I can have a look. That'd be cool. But yeah, this is my tier list. These are the helmets that I like. This is, of course, my opinion. You might have completely different opinions, and that's fine. It's okay to be wrong. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.